Hey guys, welcome to Randy's Road Life. So glad you're here to join me today because, as the title gives it away, we're going to talk about trucks. Our favorite topic. Why? Because that's why we're here, right? It's the name of the channel, Randy's Road Life. So that's what we're going to talk about. And a myriad of trucks that I have personally driven and have experience with for thousands of miles a piece. So I've done a video a long time ago comparing engines, but let's talk about that, okay? So you might want to know, what's the worst truck I have driven, right? Probably the worst truck I have driven is the Mack Pinnacle. I cannot tell you how much I loathe / hate that truck. Oh my God, I hate that truck so much. The suspension is absolutely atrocious. I mean, it's the power is, I don't like the power of the truck. It's just, it leaves you lacking. I don't like the truck. I drove it for thousands of miles, man, and I can't stand it. It's a horrible truck. Maybe it's a better dump truck. You know, I don't know. The Anthem. Same thing with the Mack, man. The suspension is a bad ride. Horrible ride. Now, what I have been told about the company I was at, the owner told me that he got really good fuel mileage with the Anthem. All right. And the serviceability was a little bit better than most of the other trucks. But man, as a driver, that ride is atrocious. I mean, it's just every bump, no matter how, just goodness gracious, man, you jarred out of your. If you didn't have a seatbelt, it'd be difficult to stay in your seat in that truck. Okay. Some of you who have the Mack Anthem, maybe you have a different take. Maybe you're not as sensitive as I am to a smoother ride. I don't know. But this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. You might not have the same. Anyways, the next truck up from that, probably the PACCAR. Anything with a PACCAR in it. PACCAR is just. I have a friend who he has a 389 with a PACCAR in it. It's 510 horsepower. He likes it. It's been a good truck for him. He does have, like I said, he does have a 389P, and that truck has been good to him. But I haven't had a good PACCAR. I haven't. Whether it's the new one or the older one, they've all been trash to me. They've all broken down. Like, just. When you compare it to all the other trucks, the motor, the drivetrain itself is just bad. And PACCAR has made themselves a bad name for a reason, and it has been well earned. Okay, so let's move up from that. Cummins. Cummins is a staple, guys. It's been around for a very long time, decades and decades. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. They've proven themselves. Has PACCAR progressed with the times? I don't really think they have. I think they can do better with their fuel mileage. The horsepower is still good. When it comes to the Cummins, the 389 I drove with the 550 was beautiful. But the Eaton Ultra Shift, eventually after I got out of that truck, blew up. Okay, so the transmission itself was bad. The Ultra Shift eventually detonated on itself after I got out of that truck, but it did happen. But the motor itself was freaking phenomenal, man. Great power. The torque is amazing. Going up mountains in that 389 was beautiful. It's the yellow 389 that you guys see in some of my videos. That was the 389, and I absolutely loved that truck. Okay, that was a 13-speed. Ultra Shift. Excuse me. It wasn't automatic. All right. So from there, let's go to the Detroit diesel. I'm gonna have to tell you guys, man. Some of you guys don't like the Freightliner, and I get it. It drives like a freaking wet noodle, and it leaves. I mean, it can lack power. It hesitates sometimes on the takeoff because of the. It's about fuel savings, right? And that's why it does a lot of that stuff. I understand the frustration dealing with the Detroit diesel and some of these Freightliners, and now the new Western Stars, or if you want to call them Western Stars, they're very well integrated with the Freightliner for the most part. But it does have some of the amenities of the old Freightliner, like some of the more luxurious interior options, dealing with the material wise, and some of the LED options on the hood and style. But and it is very spacious inside. I have a friend who also has one, and he likes it. So I mean, but it's essentially a lot of the components are Freightliner and Western Star. It's the same thing, essentially, kind of like the Peterbilt and the Kenworth. Same thing. Okay, now you got Volvo and Mack share the same components. Why? Because they're owned by the same company. So 3 different companies own all 6 trucks. So that's what you guys are dealing with right now. What was my favorite truck out of all of them? I have to say that 389 Pete. That 550 horsepower Cummins was a monster. It was great. The extra horsepower was awesome. I love that Pete so much. It was the best truck I had. Now the Cummins with the 500 horsepower that I had at First Fleet, that was in the Kenworth, which was the mid-roof single bunk, very nice truck, custom stuff. Had the 8-bag suspension system on the drives. Very nice truck. I really liked that truck. But as the digital gauge and all the cluster and all that stuff on the Pete, the yellow Pete I drove, the 389, there's issues with the digital gauge clusters, right? I was told there was an update about that. Maybe they fixed it, maybe they didn't. I don't know about that part, but understand that it can be prone to freezing. Then you have to reset the truck, and all you have to do is turn it off, take the key out, let it sit for a half hour or so. Maybe not even that, I don't know. That's what I had to do when I was in that black Kenworth mid-roof T680, and restart it, and everything was fine. But eventually, after I got out of the truck, sometime later, it all shut down. And then the fleet manager told me they had to take it to a dealership, and in order to get it serviced. So what had to happen is they had to get the entire computer updated, all right, for that bug that was in that system. So there you have it. So, man, I can't. The Mack, it leaves a lot to be desired. The interior of the Anthem, it's not bad interior, but the problem is it's very small. Everything juts out at head level, and it's like being in the Anthem is made to just knock you senseless. Okay. So I don't like the Anthem, especially if you want to take your wife, girlfriend, or if you're a woman, you want to take your husband. Don't get this twisted, guys. I don't do the gender stuff. Man is a man, woman is a woman. So let's get past that. But anyways, if you want to take your wife, or if you're a woman, if you want to take your husband or boyfriend, or however that situation resolves, there's going to be some tight room. Even in the 389, okay, the Pete 389 I had, ton of storage space. I mean, there was no lack of storage space. I mean, it was like an apartment in that damn thing. But the center of the walkway, obviously it's a 389, was a little narrow. So if you have someone in that truck, it can be, you got to get around each other, right? The new 5.8, the new versions of that are wider, kind of like the 579s, the T680s, and that, I guess, kind of like how they did the 990s for the Kenworth. They did that to the Pete. All right. So there you go. Have it. Also, just so you guys know, in the 389s and the what do they call those new ones? Anyways, I don't even know. 589s? I'm not really sure. I forgot. They do have 18-speed automatics for those of you who cannot drive a stick. Maybe it's not like you can't drive a stick. Maybe you don't want to, right? There's no shame in that, man. So they do make 18-speed automatics. I know that for a fact. So with that, guys, I hope that helps you out. Maybe it helps you in choosing a truck. So here's the question. What truck would I choose? Now, this is my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You have your personal opinion. That's why we're individuals, right? We're individual people. We have things that we like. What would I choose? Now, if I'm running my own truck that I own, what would I choose? Well, I'm a flatbed guy, right? Maybe I want to haul an RGN, right? I like RGN trailers. I would rather haul an RGN trailer, maybe a step deck. So in considering that, I would probably want to haul with probably the new Western Star with a beefier Detroit diesel. Maybe if I'm hauling something heavy on an RGN, I want a higher horsepower ratio, a higher horsepower, excuse me. If I'm not hauling heavy stuff, look, I'm cool with a 505, okay? Detroit diesel. Why did I choose Detroit diesel? Okay, first of all, the Detroit diesel is more serviceable. It's going to save you time. Serviceability is time well spent and managed, okay? Another thing, because of time, you save money. Another thing, okay, it's not as expensive to service a Detroit diesel as it is a Cummins. Definitely not a Packard or a Mack. And another thing, the Detroit diesel is better on fuel mileage. It's a great engine for fuel mileage. To get the 505 uncapped, right? No, not governed, okay? Not a lead foot that you're not doing 80 miles an hour and all that. Just do the speed limit, guys. You got good time management. You're always going to be early. Manage your time properly. Be professional. You are managing a business, especially if you're an owner-operator. Even if you're a lease purchase guy, right? Use good time management. Stop taking all the extra time and being lazy and all that stuff. That's what hurts you guys the most, especially the lease purchase, right? You lease purchase guys, you have to understand that the more time you waste, the less money you make. The more times you go home, the less money you make. The longer you stay home, the less money you make, right? Manage that time wisely, right? If you can stay home longer because you got savings, that's one thing. But understand, even that is going to take away from your savings, all right? So every time you stop more than you should, you will lose money, all right? The name of this game, you guys know it, is to make money. It's a business. Run it like a business. Who in the hell wants to run out of business? Who wants to have their business closed because they foreclosed? That will happen to you if you don't use good time management and good business etiquette. All right, with that, guys, I hope what I've said and explained on here helps you guys out to make great decisions, because what is the motto of the channel? It's very simple: to dispense good information that allows us to make good decisions that bring about positive outcomes. Let's do it again. We dispense good information that allows us to make good decisions that bring about positive outcomes. So, almost a 15-minute video. Hopefully I said something that you guys can learn, something you guys can use. You guys have opinions. You guys have knowledge. Share it. Leave it in the comments. Share this on your social media platforms. Subscribe, please. Hit the bell for the notifications. I don't do a ton of videos, guys. I'm not going to spam you with videos, okay? Soon, I'm going to have some help doing these videos so I can do some more in-depth videos dealing with securement and the flatbeds, the open deck side of the business. even like pre-trip stuff, some maintenance stuff, things like that. There's a lot of things I want to do. And what we want to do, again, is dispense good information that helps us make good decisions that bring about positive outcomes. So with that, guys, peace, have a great night, and I'll see you on another video.